Midfield Runners Cup F1 League has been through 17 seasons and over 5 years of racing now. We are approaching our 300th race soon in Season 18, and since Season 9 and onward, we have had a Constructors Teams Championship. In the past, I have done videos on drivers and even touched on their team stats at times, but this is a complete showcase of Midfield Runners Cup teams from a team perspective. It took me a while to compile the stats and put this together, and there is a lot of information on screen, so pause at times if you need to. I'm BB Nasty. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. Before we dive into the teams themselves, I thought it best to take a look at the teams' championships and the drivers who won them. 5 teams have won Constructors' Championships, 4 of them twice. 4 drivers have won multiples, and only Season 16 was not won by those 4 drivers, 2 of which don't even race very often anymore. Vols might be tied with King with 4 drivers' championships each, but in teams' championships, Vols stands alone. It bears mentioning here that King has had 6 runners-up in the team's championships, but just can't seem to get it done. Our own Mark Martin of sorts. At this point, I don't know whether to root for him to win one or to get more of his impressive runner-up finishes. Speaking of runner-up awards, I have ordered my list from most points all-time to least, and Ferrari takes both the honor of having the most points scored and runner-up 5 times without a championship win. Ferrari lead 9 of our 16 stats categories here, including the highest worst finishing position of 7th. They have the most starts at 250, but also the highest points per race average at 9.2 points per race. 67 double points finishes is an astounding 24, more than the nearest competitor Red Bull. Ferrari are popular with the drivers and dominate points finishes, leading me to think a Constructors' Championship is in the cards, right? Right? Red Bull are second only to Ferrari in points and many stats. They own 2 categories, and really that's just one, and that's winning. Red Bull have the most race wins at 28 and the highest win percentage at 13%. One of just 2 teams in double digits there. Unlike Ferrari, Red Bull have 2 championship wins, seasons 10 and 14. Red Bull averages 8.9 points per race, just behind Ferrari, and 3rd in the best DNF percentage. They've been in a slump as of late, finishing their worst 8th in the championship the last 3 seasons in a row. Hopefully, this changes for them. McLaren is 3rd in the all-time Constructors' points and coming off of a dominating championship run in Season 17, adding to their Season 11 win. While Ferrari and Red Bull have most stats categories leads to themselves, McLaren is on the up. 3rd or 4th in several categories, including having 18 wins, which is tied for 3rd most, and an 8% win rate, which is 4th. McLaren is smack in the middle of DNF percentage, ranked 5th at 20.1%, and enjoys the 3rd highest start percentage. Mercedes is in 4th all time, just 11 points behind McLaren, so the battle is on. Merc has 18 wins, the same as McLaren, but a better win rate. They are just 1/10 off of McLaren's DNF percentage and have several more points finishes, ranking 3rd. Seasons 13 and 15 Midfield Runners Cup champions expect this battle with McLaren to continue for 3rd and 4th positions in all-time points. Mercedes just needs to do what they do and have more starts to improve. 5th and 6th are also in a heated battle. Sauber currently ahead of Aston Martin by 13 points only. Sauber's best team's championship finish is 3rd 3 times, and they are only 7th in double points finishes. However, Sauber has the fewest DNFs and the 2nd lowest DNF percentage, which has helped them stay in the top 5 or 6 in points finishes. Their ability to finish consistently, while simultaneously being all over the place, is why they occupy 5th over Aston, despite Aston Martin having half a point per race advantage. Aston Martin's gap of 13 to Sauber in 5th has to be in a big way down to their horrendous 64 DNFs and worst DNF percentage at 34%. That's 1 in every 3 races that Aston wrecks out. They have the second most wins, the second highest win rate, and the most poles by far and fastest laps, plus 2 championships in Season 9 and 16, so they get fast drivers. This team has had some live or die, keep it on the edge drivers so far, and I think Aston could and maybe should be able to take on Sauber in 5th. HAAS is 7th on my list in all-time teams points and has 7 wins. The American team has had its share of ups and downs, but the downs are low. 73 DNFs is the most of any team. The highs are spread out, but are largely contributed to by one driver in particular. American driver Tip has spent 5 of his 6 seasons in the league racing for HAAS, all in a row, the longest tenure of any driver for any team. HAAS has a 2nd place in the championship, and their worst finish is just 8th twice. Alpine, in 8th in the standings, is the only team with just 1 team championship win. They are another team with a lot of DNFs, but with the 2nd highest amount of starts, they have a low DNF percentage. 4th in double points finishes at 37, 10 fastest laps, and the 5th most top 10s are some of Alpine's highest achievements. 9th is their worst team's finish, and they've been there twice, but that is still better than most. Visa RB is in 9th in the all-time team points, and I bet it's the name holding them back. The Visa Tauri Rosso Baby Bulls have an impressive 8 wins and 2 third-place championship finishes. Pretty good for what's akin to a backmarker on this list. Visa is actually a midfielder in terms of production. They just need a championship caliber driver. 7th in both top 10 categories, yet 9th in top 5 and podiums. I think that says it all. Truth be told, there is but one backmarker here, and it is Williams in last. Not just last, but barely more than half as many points as the next team. Less than half as many wins as the next team, and Williams is the only team to not have a top 3 Constructors' Team Championship finish. 4th is the best they've mustered. Granted, they have had the fewest starts, but I hold this as evidence of their unpopularity with good drivers. Williams' highest accolade is that they have just the 5th most DNFs. This video is brought to you in part by UncleEddysSeasoning.com. Unleash the smoke, dog. For this part of the video, we will look at the team's drivers, starting with Williams and going in ascending order. Old Willie's team has never been popular with top drivers. Drank is the only previous drivers' champion to race for them and only brought 1 win that season. They have had the fewest starts of any team and fewest double points finishes. A string of multiple good seasons would be required just to start to improve. Visa RB is not much more popular than Williams, but has had a little more success. Several winners have raced there and 2 past champions. Guitar has been there 3 times as a number 1 driver, and they haven't really had a top-tier pairing. King being the only frontrunner they have ever had, bagging 5 of their 6 wins in 1 season. Alpine has had 4 different drivers' champions race for them and multiple race winners. Vols and Austin, however, are the only ones to bring them a championship. And indeed, Alpine's only top 3 teams finish. Me and Guitar are the only ones to race for Alpine twice, for me, the only team I have done so at. HAAS has had a driver lineup dominated by Tip, as mentioned before, and Americans in general, with just 1 Canadian, AJ, racing for them 1 season. 3 drivers' champions have raced for HAAS, but no team's championship has been won by them yet, although they are on an upward swing, having finished second and third the last 2 seasons, respectively. Aston Martin is an odd one. They attract fast talent and deliver on wins and championships, but not consistent points finishes. They are with Red Bull and Ferrari as the only 3 teams to win a race in all but 2 seasons in the modern era so far, and are the most diverse, with drivers from 4 different countries gracing their lineups. It seems it is a win or bust at Aston Martin. This is insane, what I have discovered. Sauber has had 7 different drivers' champions race for them. Cholo's done so twice, and they have never won a championship. No other team has had so many different drivers' champions race for them, yet third 3 times is the best that they can claim in the standings thus far. An interesting team. Mercedes has gained in popularity, going from hardly any starts in Season 9, our first with teams, to 4th in the points now, just 11 out of 3rd at this point. Helped greatly by drivers champion D. Austin running and winning with them for a few seasons, plus FaZe, CJ, and King, Mercedes has become a points finishing machine, with the 3rd highest average of points per race and win rate. As of late, McLaren has become Eddys' team. He has run for them 5 times, always as number 1 driver, including his rookie season and the last 3 in a row, culminating in the Constructors' Championship with Austin this past season. McLaren is very consistent on scoring top 10s and are the only team other than HAAS to never have a Canadian lead driver. Both of Red Bull's championships came with Vols at the head, paired with me and then FaZe, a very popular team with top drivers representing 13 drivers' championships among them. As mentioned before, Red Bull are just one of 3 teams to win a race in all but 2 seasons. Red Bull consistently does everything fast and are near the top in every category. More championships are likely. The other team to win races in all but 2 seasons is Ferrari. They attract a lot of talent, with multiple drivers' champions and race winners gracing their rosters. King, most notably, has raced for them 4 times, finishing runner-up in each, which is crazy. Eleventy has done the same thing 3 times, making it even more bizarre. With all the accolades already scored, there remains just one question. Who will bring Ferrari its first Midfield Runners' Cup F1 Constructors Teams Championship? Hey there, esports fans. Nasty here. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. Go to our Discord server to join up with us. And, well, that's through the link below. And also, go to, linked below, UncleEddysSeasoning.com to spice up any meal. Unleash the smoke, dog. Thank you. I love you all.